Let me now explain that given a set of periodic tasks with its deadline, how can it be checked whether it is schedulable using RMA scheduling algorithm, which is one of the real-time scheduling algorithm. RMA scheduling is done only on a periodically repeating set of tasks. Given a set of tasks, we can check whether it is RMA schedulable or not by checking on the three different conditions, namely utilization bound, and the second one Liu-Leland bound, and the third one is Liu-Lehoczky's bound. Let us learn how the given set of tasks is checked for RMA schedulability by considering this example where Ti is the task Ti, Ei is the execution time of a particular task, Pi is the period of time by which each of the tasks repeats itself, and Di is the deadline of each of the tasks. Let me first check the first condition called as the utilization bound, which is the very basic condition for any of the scheduling algorithms in real-time systems, where summation of I is equal 1 to n Ei by Pi should be less than or equal to 1. That is, the maximum utilization of the processor while scheduling the task should be less than or equal to 1. So, let us check this condition for our example. So, when checked with the task's execution time with its processing time summation added together, it is giving the value of 0.85, which is less than or equal to 1, and so our considered example satisfies the condition bound 1. So we are going to check for the second condition called as the Liu-Leland bound. So see, Liu-Leland bound condition says like this, where n into 2 to the power 1 by n minus 1 should be greater than or equal to the utilization of the set of tasks, where n is the number of tasks in our set of tasks, right? So in our example, n, the number of tasks here is going to be 3. So by applying this value into the Liu-Leland bound, it is found that the obtained value is 0.771, which is not greater than the utilization value 0.85. Hence, the given set of tasks does not satisfy the Liu-Leland bound. So, only when the second condition do not satisfy, we go for the check of the Liu-Lehoczky's bound. But if the given set of tasks satisfies the first two conditions, we need not go for the third condition check, and we can conclude that it is RMA schedulable. But in our example, as the given set of tasks does not satisfy the second condition, we are going to check for the third condition called as the Liu-Lehoczky's bound. So the Liu-Lehoczky's bound says like this: the task Ti will meet its first deadline when applied in this equation, where Di is the deadline of each task Ti. That is, in the periodic scheduling algorithm, the priority of the task is given based on the period of individual task. So when we consider our example, the priority is given like this: T1, which is having the least period, is given the first priority, and T2 is given the second priority, and T3 is given the third priority. So when this period, when it is plotted over the timeline chart, okay, so when it is plotted over the timeline chart, each of the individual tasks execution time, first execution time, should get satisfied before its deadline. If this condition is satisfied in this timeline chart, we can conclude that our given set of tasks is RMA schedulable. So, considering our example, when we take the first task whose execution time is 20, it is completed since it is having the highest priority. But the T1 task keeps on repeating at the time period of 100. So after 20, T2 starts its execution, where the execution time of T2 is going to be 30. So after T1, T2 is starting its execution and it is completing its first execution at the time period of 50. And when after 50, T3 starts its execution and its time period is 90. And when it reaches 100, T1 task go for its repetition and it takes over the processor and goes for the time period of 120. And after 120, immediately this next task goes for its execution, and after completion of all the tasks, we can find that each of the tasks completes its first execution before its deadline, where T1 completes its execution at 20 before its deadline of 100. T2 completes its first execution, that is 30 time period, before its deadline 150, and T3 completes its first execution time period of 90 before 200. So since all the tasks complete its first execution before its deadline, we can conclude that the given set of tasks is RMA schedulable, which is implemented using the Liu-Lehoczky's bound equation. By this, we can identify for any of the given set of tasks whether it is RMA schedulable or not. Thank you.